And cut.
Oh,
Kenny and Max. My students quote me all the time. Have one of the hottest up-and-comers in Nashville who studied with us and is in our movie, played the dad in our movie. And he says that every time he goes on stage, he says, he told me this the other day, he says, I carry your bag of tools with me every time I go on stage. That's a great compliment.
Just control-deleted me there for a second.
Okay, simmer down.
Yeah, everybody, simmer down now. Simmer down now. We are rolling. We have speed. We have a mark. And action.
Of course you resent it. But you should know there's a simple way to silence all these unjust criticisms. If you were just to produce some accounts and...
Why should I? Why should I submit to the bullying of the diocesan's offices? Why should I open up private files so you can appease your obstreperous archdeacon, who is currently browbeating you into taking an undignified and undefying stance? And if I do give in to this request, I will be taking a serious... Oh.
I understand your anger. But you should know... And I see your point of view. But Stephen, you gotta listen to me what I'm about to tell you. Sorry, can we start over on that? I was not feeling that. I was not feeling that.
That's okay. It's okay.
Can I review my script really quick?
Sure, don't get up. We'll bring it to you.
I'm not. I just want to review this.
It's all right.
Sorry.
Oh, that's
Okay, I got fired as script supervisor.
What kind of a script consultant are you? Jeez, well,
Don't quit your day job, buddy.
Jeez, it's hard to find good help.
It's all about rhythm.
I know.
Yeah.
See, Karen, can you feel the love? Can you feel the love here? All we have is love. See, don't screw up again, damn it, Max.
No.
He knows I'm just kidding.
It was good to know.
Focus, guys. Take your time.
Max obviously forgot the #1 lesson.
Never break.
Cough.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, it is ridiculously warm in here.
You are wearing a
Well, you're wearing a wool jacket. What the heck? You have a hole in your armpit or something? You don't want us to see your shirt or what?
Go back in your hole, Alex.
What does this turn into?
I don't know. Okay.
Sit down. Sit down, everybody. All right. I'm joking, but yeah. Not really.
Okay, give him a minute, guys.
We're rolling. Take your own action.
Of course you resent it. But you should know there's a simple way to silence all these unjust criticisms. If you were just to produce some accounts, then...
Why should I? Why should I submit to the bullying of the diocesan offices? Why do I need to produce files, private files, just so you can appease your archdeacon, who is currently browbeating you into taking an undignified and undefied stance? And if I were to give in, I would be taking the most dangerous precedent. Now, believe me, the canons will have my back up the hilt in asserting the dean and chapter's ability to withstand any interference from the archdeacon or any of his ordering of the cathedral's affairs.
I understand your anger, and I see your point of view. But Stephen, please, I beg of you, please listen carefully to what I'm about to say. I myself don't see any deliberate issue, but it should be a fact that anyone, even someone as financially adroit as you, can commit a mistake that proves expensive. If there is indeed been made a mistake somewhere along the line, please tell me right now so that I could give you my full support in sorting out all these consequences. I can understand where there be circumstances where talking to the canons wouldn't be in your best favor, but please know that I'm on your side with this.
How extremely kind of you. But I am in no need of a confessor.
I should also warn you that if you continue to persist in your refusal to cooperate with me, I shall feel obliged to make a visitation.
Then make it. I hope you enjoy the moment when I present you with immaculate accounts.
Yeah, that's a very irresponsible attitude for a senior churchman to adopt. Shouldn't you be thinking of ways you could best avoid
No,
unfortunate...
shouldn't you? I don't understand this lust. This lust to play the Grand Inquisitor of the chapter's house is more than a little distasteful. You are only supposed to go around and be everybody's father in God, not prying into the cathedral's affairs like some fraud squad detective. Now, let me repeat. Everything is fine. I have control of everything. And the appeal is on course. So why don't you go back to your little job of playing the good bishop and leave me in peace to play the good dean?
Because I know from past experience that the role of good dean is one that you sometimes have great trouble sustaining.
How dare you? How dare you?
And since you insist on a spade being a spade, I hardly think you're in the right to complain when I follow your example. So, Stephen, let's just have a conversation in a calm, civilized, and dare I say Christian manner. Let's try to get a hold of ourselves. I don't want to have a visitation, but I think it'd be
that is a
infinitely
lie. You've been longing for years to make a visitation, so you can run my face through the mud. And don't think I don't know why.
Stephen.
You haven't forgiven me, have you? You haven't forgot that I may have made a pass at your wife. And the problem is, your wife didn't seem too upset about it.
Oh, you bloody liar! You bloody liar! She was never interested in you. She fought you off. I know she
did
fought
not
you
fight
off.
hard. For a long time, she didn't fight at all. It's a good thing I didn't have a drink.
Oh, you always have too much to drink. I mean, the only reason you spend your entire damn life committing adultery is because you're always too bloody sodden to achieve it.
Righteous, hypocritical
What's so
little boy.
self-righteous and hypocritical about telling the truth?
It's not the truth. I speak the truth when I tell you you are self-righteous and hypocritical. How dare you accuse me of immorality when you are the one who went to bed last night with Harriet March? And don't pretend you don't know what I'm talking about. And don't act like I will keep quiet for the good of the church either. In fact, go ahead and make that visitation. Because if you do, I will go up to Harriet's highest friends in London and tell them about the affair. And then the news of the world will be on your doorstep quicker than you can draw a breath to lie about your innocence.
There wasn't an affair.
That's not what Harriet had to
But
say.
she's lying.
Well, I don't trust you, and I don't believe you, and neither will the news of the world.
Well, that's it. You just convinced me, without a shadow of doubt, that you are utterly unfit to be the dean of a great cathedral. I will force you out of Starbridge, even if it's the very last thing I ever do.
And cut.
Okay.
Once we start getting the pace, then it
Yeah,
was going.
yeah.
Just
Yeah,
that first gear is like, oh, first gear stuck, and then now second.
There was
Yeah,
a lot of
the-
improvisation in that one.
The minute you got past that hump,
Yeah,
that little hurdle,
yeah,
it really started rocking.
yeah.
And this is why I've never had an actor in 30 years of coaching get on a set for the first time and be uncomfortable. The chances of you getting a role like this at the stages that most of you are 10 million to 1. So if you can do this here and produce as well as you did, 5 lines, 8 lines on a Shonda Rhimes show, Who cares? You'll go in and kick ass. Yeah, you'll get the job done. You'll do really well. And you'll get, I just had one of my actors just guest starred on Chicago Med. And now he's guest starring on Power Book 4. So this works, guys. This process works. You don't have to get your book of verbs. You don't have to dissect a script. You don't have time for it. You just don't have time.
Right.
You get a call on Friday for an audition on Friday morning. You get a call back Friday afternoon. You're on the set Monday morning. When do you do backstory? When do you do research? You don't have time. 5 things to look at on every script. 5 things, real simple. Who, what, where, when, why. Done. Here's a question for you guys. If you are in scenes 4, 5, and 6, scenes 31, 32, and 33, and scenes 89, 91, and 92, do you have to read the whole script? No. Why? That's information you don't need.
It's not your story.
It's not your story. You're concerned with the scenes you're in. I love when Harvey Keitel gave De Niro the Kennedy Award Center Award. He was up there and he looked up at Bobby and he says, Bobby, I want to thank you for teaching the most important thing about memorization. My line, my line, my line, bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. My line, bullshit, 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 my line, my line. Okay, it's not that simple, of course. But there's no reason for you to know what's going on in the story if you're not involved in part of that story. Why? What's the first thing about screenwriting? The first rule about writing is if it doesn't add to the story, take it out of the screenplay. You see it all the time in movies. They'll go from one sequence to another. You sort of what? But then you think back and think, oh, it didn't matter. It doesn't matter. If it doesn't add to the story, it doesn't matter. If what you're going to read about is only going to clutter your brain with excess matter, why do we need to know it? We don't. How long was the guy in Germany? I don't care. I don't care. I'm not in that scene. I don't care if he, spent his life there. Okay, it's a ball buster, guys, and I doff my hat, but this is why we're here. This is why all the material we have is original material. And I purposely pull material that's going to be hard for you, that's going to take you out of your comfort zone, that's going to make you break down, that's going to keep you from smiling all the time. You're not my only smiler anymore. You don't smile. No. The smiling in that sequence was wonderful. But you remember you used to do that a lot. I have a beautiful gal in Wednesday Morning who does the same thing. Not anymore. She did 6 months ago. She smiled through everything. I could give her a funeral sequence. She'd be smiling through it. She didn't want me to see what was going on inside of her. Well, you have to be willing to do that. You have to be willing to show me. You guys were furious with each other. And it wasn't about the church. And it wasn't about money. It was about who f***ed whom.
It's personal.
It was personal. It was personal. And it became very personal for both of you in the sequence. And because it was personal, it became visceral for me. Okay?
Yeah.
Don't you cry, make me cry. Okay? We good in the booth?
Yeah, we're good. That was really great, guys.
Okay, Mr. Abner, you've got the con.
Trying to hold for a few seconds for sound.
Holding for sound.
And motorcyclists.
Hey, that's Frontier Airlines to you.
Oh, sorry.
It's both.
Oh yeah. Spirited Frontier.
I think we're clear now.
Okay, take your time, guys. Focus a minute.
either rolling or take your own action.
Of course you resent it. But you should know there is an easy way to silence all these unjust criticisms. If you were to produce some accounts, then...
Why should I? Why should I submit to the bullying of the diocesan's offices? Why should I open up private files so that you can appease your obstreperous archdeacon who is currently browbeating you into taking an undignified and undefying stance? And if I were to give in to this request, I'd be setting the most dangerous precedent. Now I assure you, the canons have my back to the hilt in asserting the dean and chapter's ability to withstand any interference from the archdeacon and the ordering of the cathedral's affairs.
I understand your anger, and I see your point of view. But Stephen, I beg of you, please listen very carefully to what I'm about to say. I personally don't see any deliberate wrongdoing. But it is a fact that anyone, even someone as financially adroit as you, can commit a mistake that proves expensive. If there really has been a mistake made somewhere along the line, please tell me now so that I could back you completely. But I also can understand that there would be circumstances that speaking to the canons wouldn't be in your favor. And I'd be failing you as your bishop if I didn't at least give you the chance to confide in me.
Well, how extremely kind of you, but I am in no need of a confessor.
I should also warn you that if you persist in your refusal to cooperate with me, I shall feel obliged to make a visitation.
Then make it. And I hope you enjoy what you find when I present you immaculate accounts.
That's a very irresponsible attitude for a senior churchman to adopt. Shouldn't you be thinking of ways to best avoid unfortunate
Shouldn't
publicity?
you? Listen to yourself. This lust to become this grand inquisitor of the chapter's house is more than a little sickening. Your job is to go around being everybody's father and God, not prying into the cathedral's affairs like some mob squad detective. Now listen to me when I tell you everything is fine. I have everything under control. The appeal is on course, so why don't you do me a favor and go back to your job and play the good little bishop? And leave me in peace to play the good dean.
Because I know from past experience that the role of a good dean is one that you sometimes have great trouble sustaining.
Oh, how dare you! How dare you!
And since you insist on calling a spade, I hardly think you're in the right to complain when I follow your example. So, Stephen, let's get a grip on ourselves and try to have a conversation in a calm, civilized, and dare I say, Christian manner. I'll start by offering some information that is true, and which I hope you'll accept as a peace offering, signifying my good intentions. I don't want to have a visitation, and I think it'd be infinitely better for the church
That
if
is a lie. You have been longing for years to make a visitation here so you could rub my face in the mud, and don't think I don't know why. You still haven't forgiven me.
Steve.
You haven't forgotten that I may have made a pass at your wife, and you haven't forgotten that she wasn't as upset as she should have been.
You bloody liar. You bloody liar! She was never interested in you. She fought you off.
No.
I know she fought you
She
off.
did not fight that hard, and for a while she did not fight at all. Good thing I didn't have too much to drink.
Why, you always have so much to drink. The only reason why you don't spend your entire damn life committing adultery is because you're always too bloody sodden to
You
a payback.
self-righteous, hypocritical.
What's so
little-
self-righteous and hypocritical?
Because
about
it's
speaking
not the truth. I am speaking the truth when I call you self-righteous and hypocritical. Now, how dare you accuse me of immorality when you, just last night, were in bed with Harriet March?
What?
No, don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about. And don't think for once I will keep silence for the good of the church. In fact, if you go through with this visitation, I shall reach out to Harriet's highest friends in London and tell them about the affair. And then the news of the world will be on your doorstep quicker than you can come up with a lie about your innocence.
But there wasn't any affair.
That's not what Harriet had to say.
But she's lying!
Well, good for you. Because I don't trust you, and neither will the news of the world.
That's it. You just convinced me, without a shadow of doubt, that you are utterly unfit to be the dean of a great cathedral. I will force you out of Starbridge, even if it's the very last thing I ever do.
And cut. There we go. Nice. Nice.
Solid.
See, that's
solid.
some of the best, most relaxed, unaffected work that you've ever done. Do you feel it?
Yeah.
You feel it?
That was the take I wanted.
You've got to feel it. You've got to feel it. I can't make you feel it. I can't get you to that place.
Well, it's easy to make.
See,
Get mad at me.
I mean,
yeah.
look at him. I mean,
With the will pulled your eyebrow.
No, I'm the whitest person here.
Good work, guys. Good. How are we doing, Joel?
Sweating like a dog.
Okay.
oh, I was already sweating like a dog in
Oh,
here.
gosh.
Do you want
Well,
to take a break now? Or?
It's up to you. We could do Rochelle and Kai, but then Jeannie has to work back to back, and I don't know that Jeannie wants to do that.
It's warm in here, so I'm thinking we should take a break.
Okay. Break time. Coffee time, break time, water time, candy time.